Welcome to the second webinar of our three-part series on behavior analysis and intervention for students in general education, special education, and the 504 program. This particular webinar will focus on Tier 2, the next level. Tier 2 may be around 5 to 15% of the student population. Tier 2 focuses on targeted group interventions for students who need more support than what the primary campus interventions and core curriculum can provide. Tier 2 provides students with more focused, intensive, and frequent small group-oriented responses in situations where problem behavior is likely. Let's talk about analyzing behavior in general education, which is the first step to starting a functional behavior assessment, or FBA. When an adult is conducting an observation in the general education setting as part of the FBA process, the 9 parts to the observation listed on the slide should be noted. The adult conducting the observation should monitor for student strengths and behaviors that interfere with academic progress. The adult should also monitor the activities taking place when the behavior occurs, the location or time frame of the behavior, and the individuals involved with the behavior. Additional behaviors taking place at the same time as the target behavior, as well as triggers and what de-escalates the behavior, should also be noted. In addition, the observer should take note of any avoidance behaviors and observe what takes place after the behavior. An analysis of student behavior should be conducted for a purpose and for specific reasons. Some examples would be providing more information about students' behavior or providing data for developing an appropriate and effective behavior plan. When to conduct an analysis is also important. A good time might be when a student is not responding to interventions, or when a pattern or trend seems to be forming, or when the student is getting into trouble more frequently. Is an analysis of behavior and a behavior plan appropriate for general education students? Absolutely. Not only is it appropriate, but it is recommended under certain circumstances. This slide lists a few facts about analyzing behavior for general education students, such as could be discussed as a part of the student review committee. Utilized when a behavior is interfering with students' progress, both emotional and academic. To analyze data for possible function of the behavior, or to determine how teachers and others will teach the skill and concepts a student has not yet acquired. Can an FBA and BIP be completed for a student in the 504 program? Yes. A student in the 504 program may benefit from a functional behavior assessment and/or behavior intervention plan, or BIP. This slide references details associated with conducting an FBA and completing a BIP for students in the 504 program. It is imperative to meet as a 504 committee to discuss conducting an FBA and obtain consent from the parent. Data should be collected as part of the functional behavior assessment to determine if a behavior intervention plan is needed. Conducting a functional behavior assessment and completing a behavior intervention plan for a student in the special education program is the most restrictive process. This slide discusses the importance of collaboration and timelines during this FBA BIP process for students in special education program. Anytime a functional behavior assessment is conducted or student behavior is observed and evaluated, it is imperative to collaborate regardless of the student's program placement. This slide addresses the difference between the process for a student in general education versus a student in special programs such as 504 and special education. General education student, initial discussion. Notify parent and hold an RTI meeting, each campus calls these something different, and review teacher information regarding behavior. All student data should be considered, i.e., medical reports, grades, attendance, referrals, etc. Develop appropriate interventions and data collection methods for the classroom teacher to utilize following the RTI meeting. Review of existing evaluation data, or READ, must be detailed and include all current data. Determine if further evaluation is needed in the area of behavior. If yes, then provide notice of evaluation, consent for evaluation, and a copy of the procedural safeguards. If no, then the committee should note the decisions in the ARD minutes, deliberations, and a copy of the procedural safeguards should be provided to the parent. Data is extremely important when conducting any type of behavior analysis. This slide will help you see how to determine the information that should be gathered to conduct a valid evaluation. Take a moment to review the information on this slide. Here are several useful links to consider when conducting a behavior analysis. LEAs are welcome to utilize these sample forms to obtain or get ideas for appropriate feedback from all student stakeholders. Use these helpful tips to complete a strong FBA or BIP. 1. All the following parties should collaboratively write the IEP to include teachers, parents, case manager, LSSP, speech or VI or AI, and related services team. 2. Write facts only, no opinions. 3. Write and complete descriptive sentences. 4. Avoid or minimize the use of checkboxes. Individualize the BA or FBA. 5. Avoid using or listing corporal punishment, restraint, CPI, etc. as a consequence. 6. Note strategies to use to teach replacement behaviors instead of incentives. That was a lot of information. Here is a quick summary of what we discussed today. Please take a minute to review the slide and refresh yourself before proceeding to the next slide. If you do not remember anything else from today's webinar, please remember we must teach appropriate behavior skills just as we teach academics. The best way to teach replacement skills is through the inclusive process, if appropriate for the student. Please review the bullet points noted on this slide for tips on how to positively reinforce behavior and encourage positive response to behavior interventions. What's next? Our webinar series will continue with Part 3, Tier 3. For additional questions on Tier 2, please reach out to your regional consultant who provides support in the area of behavior. Our contact information is provided. Should you have additional questions about the information provided, please feel free to reach out to Lane Pethick or Stacy Glosson. Thank you.